Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Nat Walsh. I am back for TLC Designs and we're going to have a play with Turtle-icious. There's 14 stamps in this stamp set and there's some really cute little bits and pieces. I've only just sort of started playing around with him, but I love the little turtle in the egg. He's so gorgeous. We're going to do a little bit of masking with our snail who... Shall I give you a spoiler? He's going to come and visit his little turtle friend. So I think it's going to be really, really cute. We're going to do pretty much a good chunk of our stamping all in one foul swoop. So we've got the sentiment there, our little lily pad and our snail and our little turtle. Now I am going to ink this up a couple of times and stamp it a couple of times because I didn't run my fingers over it. So what happens when they manufacture it, I'm sure you've probably heard this all before, it leaves a little bit of a film over it. You just can run your fingers over it. Some people do it also with like a sticky ink pad. Run your fingers over it a couple of times and it just takes that shine off it, okay? And it stamps quite well. These stamp beautifully, but I just wanted a little bit more. I'm going to fight with a bit of post-it note here because it takes me 3 goes to put it in the right spot. This is just a bit of full stick post-it note. Something we easily get here in Australia at Officeworks. Trim him out. I don't even need to trim out the top of his head and worry about his antennas because I'm purely going to get the bottom of him, because the bottom of him is going to have the lily pad. So stamp the little snail, whatever you want, in front and then mask him out and stamp the little lily pad. Again, we're going to stamp him a couple of times just to make sure we have a good stick, because I was being a little bit lazy, but then it cost me. This seen 6x6 paper pads, but I've mentioned this before. I'm in very cold Melbourne, Australia, and I've got the digital range of this. So when I've printed it out, it's printed out at the A4. Okay. I'm just using a little grey lead pencil, a little bit of we call them pacers in here in Australia. They're mechanical pencils, but we call them pacers. Or maybe I just do from my years in schooling and maybe everyone else has moved on, but my age group haven't. Sorry, I digress. So we've done a little bit of a pond, or the edge of the pond, and we're going to just put in our Y61. So our grass is going to be YG61, 63 and 67. And we're going to come back to him and put more texture in him very, very soon. Water pond. One thing I probably have said it before, but I'm going to tell you again. With Copic pens, what you need to make sure you do is any pencil lines that you don't want to be shown, you need to get rid of them before you put your Copic color down. Otherwise, she is not coming up. Okay? I've also, even though I've gone outside my line a little bit, I will come through with right there, with a B97. So we've got B91, 95 and 97 for our water here. What I'm going to do is, with the very lightest color, I did go outside that edging just because the water is going to lap over the edge of our pond every now and then. So that's my theory. So I thought that's what I'll go with. So we're just laying up some colors where my little lines, I did put a couple of extra little lines in him, like movement, ripples, that's the word, ripples around my little snail. and I've made them just stand out a little bit, and underneath him, because there's going to be a little bit of a shadow sort of underneath him. Okay, this is where we've got our greens, so I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow underneath the little turtle. The end card, you are going to see it, but not as much, and you'll see why. Got a couple of little tufts there of grass, and just putting a little bit of texture in the grass every now and then, basically. And just keep going until we're happy. Now with the Copic, see, I sort of briefly went outside the line there and just try and soften it a little tiny bit. With the Copic colours, honestly, my shell of my snail and my body of my turtle, I was originally not very happy with. So what you could do with Copics is called glaze. I've got here just some BG 000, and I'm not even going all the way up. As I go up, apart from knocking it around, as I go up my card, I'm just giving that little bit of streak. So it's a sense, it's really light anyway. So a sense of just a bit of movement in the sky, a little bit of interest. My lily pad is going to be YG63, let's start that again. YG93, YG90. It's been one of those days, people. I go and try and move my phone. I'm trying to do the right thing, but you know, I still manage to do things. YG63, 93. YG97 and 99. Oh dear. The lily pad, the lily on top of the little turtle is also the same colors. Now, this is where I don't particularly like the color that I used. Like, it's a nice color, or combination of colors, but not for what I wanted. Yeah, basically not for what I wanted. But let me tell you what the colors are that I didn't particularly like, and then later on when I change it around, you'll see what colors that I do like. And obviously with the glazing, you still get some of that first color coming through because they're not opaque. Yeah, so if you go really drastic in a totally different color, then you go, it's think about your color wheel. So we have E99, 97, 95 and 93 and E01. Well, you can see them all there, but basically. So where his little shell is, I've made it darker around like the spiral, and his body is also like, it doesn't look too bad there, but when I was coloring it, I didn't like it as much. So it's a good combination for something, other things. You know, a dog would be really cool with that combination. And no doubt there'll be lots of other bits and pieces. Why is it not focusing properly? That's what I would like to know. But we're going to move on, and I will work on that. So let you all know, I'm still a relatively novice with this, so we're going to work on that. So where at the base of his neck, where it goes into his shell right there, that's going to be a little bit darker. The top of his legs before they go into the shell is going to be a little bit darker as well. But see, it's not too bad, but in real life, I didn't quite like it as much as I would like. I liked the second lot. Okay. I'm fiddling around with colours here. That's a bit better. A bit more focused. Now this is where our colouring gets a little bit, not quite the normal, but we've got BV29. We have BV25, BV34 and BV31. So hopefully that is not my phone going off. So hopefully you can't hear that. But we've got school holidays and there is 3 teenagers and a husband floating around the house these days. So bear with me. I've sort of done his outside a little bit dark to give him a sense of movement. That he's not a sense of movement. It's been one of those days, can you tell? A bit of sense of roundness to him. So it's going to be the snail's body, and I'm also going to do my flower in the same colours. The flower is pretty easy with flicks up through the centre. I'm just going to use 2 colours with his little antennas, maybe 3, whoops, and a little bit on his eyes. We're just checking with our back panel. This is where we're going to come in with our darker colour and you're going to see the difference. But you will also notice that it doesn't change it too much. Like, it just makes it darker and glazes over that other colour. So we have E59, 57, 55 and 53. Okay. So you can sort of see the little bit of the difference there starting to come up compared to his snail. As I said, it's not a bad colour. It's just not quite what I was going for. So I'm going to make him a little bit darker. I am going to come through a little bit later on and give him some little bit of nail polish, because why not? So down below will be a link over to the blog where you can find Turtle-icious. We are going to use another die set called Land and Sea. I really wanted to see, and now we've got both of them coloured down. I'm going to use a blue for his shell, but we're going to use different blues. So for his shell, we have B39, B45 and B41. Just so it's not too much of a big difference. It's not a really bright blue. It's just a little bit of a variation. There's not really too many turtles that have a bright blue shell, but you know, how many turtles do you know that have a cute little lily pad on the back? Now I have forgotten his tail, but I will tweet to that. There I go. And I think I just did him with one of the browns and that was it. And come back through. With the shell there, the top of the shell, we're just going to use some W's. We've got W4, W2 and W0. And underneath him I just coloured him one flat little thing. I've got R17 for his mouth and his toes, but I'm going to come back later on and change that all around. We've got good old corner chomper. I'm going to trim up some corners. I've done that with all the panels. I've picked out a blue from my stash. This is a Land and Seas. Now I really like that waves, but it just wasn't going to work. So we've got a little bit of the grass. I just felt like it was lacking something, so we're going to put a little bit of the grass down, and I've got a little bit of glue just to pop him down. The edge of it I have sort of curved it over just to make sure it fitted well with my little leg there. and he just wanted to curl up a little bit. I'm going to trim that off. I'm also going to use another one, actually another couple of dies out of that set. I'm going to leave that for you in a little bit. We're going to have a look at that very, very shortly. I've got some little mushrooms here out of that die range, and this is where I've got the R17, and just giving them a little bit of a colour. They're pretty much going to be straight through in amongst all the grass, and I keep finding spots that I've missed. I just thought this would be really, really cute. So I changed my mind. I put them all in the grass because you can see that I was putting one further up. Now we're using another one of this die. I've basically partial cut, so I have a little bit on one side and a little bit on the other. And it doesn't matter in the middle because obviously you're not going to see it. We've got a little bit of seam binding here. It just needed something. And I'm just going to tape it down at an angle just to have it go around my curve there. So yeah, all the information is going to be down below over to the shop I should say. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this video, and we've got lots of new fun things coming out, so that's pretty exciting. I did have to pull my little bit of seam binding down a little bit because it just wasn't quite sitting right. It pulled up a little bit. I must have moved it as I was putting it down. That's better. A little bit of wet glue. Okay, probably a little bit more than a little bit. And that's our card. I hope you enjoy. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as I mentioned, a little bit of Winker Stella. I hope you enjoy. I hope you are all safe and happy, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.